Hey, I am here with the amazing Coach Jennie. I can't wait for you to meet her and this person she calls Hilda and how she sabotages you and messes with you and keeps you from reaching your goals. You're going to learn all about Jennie and Hilda and how to stop this chick from messing with you so you can reach your goals, whether they be health, fitness, business, whatever it might be. I think this applies to all areas of life. So I'm super excited. Thank you, Jennie, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, this is going to be so fun. All right, so take a moment, if you would, and introduce us to yourself first, and then we'll get into
Sure, absolutely.
languages.
I am Jennie Mustafa Julak, but everybody just calls me Coach Jennie, and I'm a life and biz coach out of Los Angeles, California. And I'm the author of the book on Hilda that we're going to be talking about today. I help people who are entrepreneurs, they're doing everything right-ish, but for some reason they're just not reaching the brass ring because they can't seem to get out of their own way. So what I do is I give them all the tools and techniques and cathartic shoves I can think of to help them get out of their own way.
Excellent. So now tell us a little bit about how you do that and this voice in our head who you call Hilda. Fill us in on her and how she came about and how she messes with us.
Absolutely. So Hilda is the name that I gave to the inner critic. I'm not the first one to talk about the inner critic, but I'm certainly the first one to humanize this broad. Usually the inner critic is called a gremlin or a lizard brain or some furry monster. I don't know why it became cutesy, but to me, it's a voice in my head that has been collecting messages and nasty sayings and guilt for my entire life. And because this voice in my head is saying all these negative things, it's coming from a human. So I gave it a human name to humanize it and to distance it from me. So Hilda is who I attribute all of that nasty noise to instead of me. It's not my inner voice, it's Hilda. And apologies to anybody named Hilda. You can call yours Jennie, then we're even. But you get to name your Hilda whatever you want. And about half of the people I work with stick with Hilda and the other half give her other names. So who Hilda is this silly cartoon character who lives in your brain who says stuff like, you suck, you can't, you don't have it in you, like you're not worthy of this. Who do you think you are? You shouldn't do that. You're going to embarrass yourself. Or she convinces you that you don't know enough yet, that you aren't enough yet. You're not smart enough. You're not qualified enough. You don't have the right credentials. Or she convinces you that you don't really want this, and she distracts you with shiny objects and gets you to procrastinate or makes you think it's not perfect yet. All of those different things that we all think. I have found that a lot of us think we're the only ones that think that. Right? I'm the only one with all this noise in my head. Yeah. There's something wrong with me. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. That's just Hilda.
Love it. Love it. Love it. I got learning about Hilda and using your language is just, it's life-changing. It's like, that's not me. That's not coming from me. That's her. And you can separate, right, the negative thoughts from you. It's a whole new way of thinking about it. I love it.
It's 50%. I say 50% of the transformation of learning about Hilda and getting out of your own way is simply raising your awareness that this is not true. Because Hilda fills your head with what I call BS beliefs, lies, alternative facts, right? Like that's what she's doing. She's telling you things that she says so repeatedly that eventually a thought that's repeated is a belief. So you buy into her lies. And since it's in your brain and nobody's told you it's some chick named Hilda, you assume it's true. Why would you lie to yourself, right? Why would you do that? So 50% of the transformation is just recognizing, no, wait, that's not my thought. That's her thought. And now that we've attributed it to Hilda, we can have that objectivity to do something about it.
Awesome. It's so huge because sabotage is like the biggest problem we all have, right? We all sabotage ourselves in some way, somehow, in some area of our life. I see it all the time in fitness. You have 4 specific BS beliefs. I don't know if you want to get into those, but one of them deals with procrastination, right? It's going to be too hard. I don't want to. I don't feel like it. Like that happens in my world every day.
100%. I think I don't wanna is the patron saint of fitness sabotage. I would say, she convinces you, she's kind of like this enabler, oh, well, you ate a good breakfast, so go ahead and have a donut before lunch, or, you worked out last week, so let's watch Netflix together. I don't want Hilda will use anything she has to convince you that you don't actually want to do this. What I've learned from being a penguin, Jen, is that it's about like standing up on the mat and taking the first breath and raising your hands the first time. Once you start, it's not hard. It's not hard to keep going. But I don't want to, Hilda is on a mission to keep you comfortable. And it's much more comfortable to stay on the couch than to stand up and get on the mat and start your exercise, even if it's a 5-minute stretch break.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Getting started is the hardest part. I call it my 5-minute rule. On the days I don't feel like it and I don't wanna, like 5 minutes. Let me just go do 5 minutes. Because
Yeah, and
5 minutes are the hardest. Once you're in it, it's not that hard.
Right. And beating Hilda is to just decide, I don't feel like it isn't a good enough excuse. Right? Because I don't feel like it. I know it
hurts, right?
we have a habit, and that's all it is. It's a habit. It's not a disease that you have. It's just a bad habit of saying, well, I didn't feel it today. But this comes up in fitness. It comes up in health. I didn't feel like eating kale today. It comes up in creativity. I didn't feel inspired today to write, or it comes up in so many ways where we're relying on feeling motivated as a strategy, which is a really bad idea. It's a bad strategy to rely on feeling like something, but relying on, whether I feel like it or not, I'm going to get 5 minutes in, at least 5 minutes. Now imagine, Jen, every time you do that first 5 minutes, you feel like doing 10 or 20.
Yeah, I rarely ever stop at 5 minutes, but I know that I have permission to stop at 5 minutes if I'm really, honestly, truly not feeling it, exhausted, tired, getting sick, whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, 99% of the time, once you get 5 minutes in, you might as well keep going. Another 5 minutes and another 5, and might as well go to a half an hour.
Right. Right. And so what we're teaching here is that I don't want to, Hilda is trying to convince you that you don't want to right now. And maybe you don't actually want to right now, but you do want to in the big picture, right? You've set a goal for yourself. You said, you know what? I want to get more flexible, or I want to just feel stronger, or I want my thighs to fit into this size jeans, or whatever your goals are. Those are things you actually want. They're not shoulds. They're things you actually want. That doesn't mean you're going to want to make an effort this afternoon at 2:00. And that's where Hilda's going to be like, that's where I can sabotage you. If I can get you before you do something about it, you're going to stay sabotaged and we can hang out on the couch and eat bonbons together. That's Hilda's MO.
Yeah, right.
I've never had a bonbon, but I always say that Hilda and I
know. I don't think I ever have either. Not that I can remember.
No, but for some reason that works, right?
It's like ice cream, isn't it? I don't even know what it is.
I think it's like those little balls of ice cream. Yeah.
All right, whatever. It's a good analogy. Everybody understands it when you say it, but yeah, it's fine to come up with a new one. Yeah. Okay, so that's I don't want to, Hilda. You have 3 others. You want to briefly fill us in?
Sure. So I don't want to, Hilda is one of the BS beliefs. The other 3 are I can't. And that's where she convinces you that there's something wrong with you. Even though everybody else can do this, there's something about you that's just so special that you can't do it, right? So she's kind of tearing you up from the inside and making you feel really a lot of self-doubt. Then there's I shouldn't, Hilda. And she kind of eats you up from the outside. She makes you worry about being embarrassed and what everybody's going to think and how you're going to be perceived, and is consumed with everybody's looking at me, even though we all know that everybody's just looking at themselves. But that's what she convinces us of and gets that spotlight. And then the last one there is I don't know. This is where she convinces you that you are not ready to cross that starting line. You need to go back and do more research. You can't start taking care. You can't, start eating better at lunch today because you don't know enough about nutrition, right? You can't take a PIO class because you don't know if it's going to be the thing that changes your life forever, right? That's where I don't know convinces you to not start something, whereas I don't wants to convince you to not finish something.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. It's just, I've got to say, having this language and being able to talk to people in these terms about Hilda, it makes everything so much more relatable and understandable, and like, it's not me.
Yes.
It's her.
It is wonderful. It's really quite funny because it's pretty basic language. It's not like I've made up words, but when you put it together, we'll have a discussion. And just after listening to this little bit, if this is the first time you've met me, you probably know what this means. We had a conversation in my group coaching program where somebody says, sometimes when I can't and I don't want to get together, I just don't. And we all roared because instantly you're like, I know exactly what you mean, right?
Yeah.
And it really is. It's like a cocktail of Hilda-isms. And her job is to keep you safe and to keep you small and to sabotage you at any length. And she's going to get as sly and clever as she needs to whenever you're about to do something that matters, something that scares you a little bit.
Yeah, it's true. I'm in your coaching program, by the way, and it's amazing. Highly recommend it. So for anybody who wants more info about you, whether they're interested in the coaching program or maybe kind of just learning more about you, where do they go to do that?
I'd recommend going over to coachjennie.com, and Coach Jennie is spelled with an IE. And when you're there, you can learn all about me. You can learn about my book, so you can pick up my book over there. And then you can also learn about my coaching program under Work With Me. The first thing I would suggest doing is taking my quiz. So there is a link there to take the quiz to find out which one of the 4 BS beliefs Hilda's feeding you right now. Now that changes depending on what you're working on for some people, and other people, they're like, I shouldn't, Hilda is my Hilda, right? But take the quiz and you can get some more information and you get a complete dossier on your Hilda and start figuring out what you can do to shut her up.
Awesome. Highly recommend it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jen. I love working with you. I love being a penguin. And I love how penguins and Hilda go together.
Yeah, they really do. I love having this language.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Fits right into the penguin world.
It totally does.
Penguins and Hilda. We'll have to make like a meme or something.
We do. We have to make like a side-by-side graphic because we have these.
Like
you've got your penguin there. I've got my Hilda here. We've got fantastic graphics.
Yeah, so much fun. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Please take advantage of Jennie's quiz. Find out which Hilda is messing with you and then what you can do about it to shut her up and get on with life, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you.